Have you ever wondered if fate has a way of bringing people together at exactly the right moment? What if I told you that a simple mistake, stepping into the wrong elevator, could change someone's entire life? That's exactly what happened to Marcus Jenkins, a struggling single father who was about to discover that his past wasn't as buried as he thought. If this story of second chances and unexpected reunions touches your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more incredible stories of life-changing encounters. Marcus Jenkins clutched his worn leather portfolio with trembling hands as he navigated the gleaming lobby of Horizon Enterprises. The security guard had given him a skeptical once-over when he entered, taking in his scuffed shoes and the suit that had seen better days. But Marcus had his temporary visitor's badge now, and he was determined to make this interview count. Floor 14, Staffing Solutions, he muttered to himself, checking the crumpled email printout for the 5th time. His daughter Lily's future depended on him landing this job. At 8 years old, she deserved so much more than their cramped one-bedroom apartment and the constant worry about making rent. The morning crowd pushed into the elevator, and Marcus squeezed in, trying to ignore the subtle way people shifted away from him. He was used to it, the invisible barrier between those who belonged in places like this and those who didn't. When the doors closed, he realized he hadn't pressed any button, but someone had already hit the button for the penthouse level. He'd have to ride up and then come back down. It's fine, he thought. I'm still 20 minutes early. The elevator emptied gradually until only Marcus remained. When the doors opened at the penthouse level, he intended to stay put, but a voice called out. Are you coming in or not? I don't have all day. Marcus stepped out reflexively, finding himself in a reception area more luxurious than any hotel he'd ever seen. Behind a curved marble desk sat an immaculately dressed woman who looked at him with undisguised surprise. You're not Mr. Harrington, she stated flatly. No, I'm sorry, wrong floor, Marcus stammered, backing toward the elevator. Wait. The command came from an open office door. A tall figure emerged, and Marcus froze. Alexander Reid, CEO of Horizon Enterprises, stood before him. The billionaire's face, familiar from countless magazine covers and news segments, was fixed in an expression of absolute shock. Marcus? The name escaped Alexander's lips as a question, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. Marcus felt the floor tilt beneath him. 20 years had passed since he'd last seen Alexander Reid, but he would have recognized him anywhere. They had once been inseparable, foster brothers who had promised to always look out for each other. Until the day Alexander was adopted by the wealthy Reid family, and Marcus was left behind. Alex, Marcus managed, his voice barely audible. The receptionist looked between them, confusion evident on her face. Sir, should I call security? Alexander shook his head slowly, his eyes never leaving Marcus's face. Cancel my meetings for the morning, Claire. He gestured toward his office. Marcus, please come in. The office was larger than Marcus's entire apartment, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Alexander moved to a seating area, indicating for Marcus to join him. 20 years, Alexander said quietly. I looked for you, you know. After college, when I had the resources. But it was like you'd disappeared. Marcus swallowed hard. I moved around a lot. After aging out of the system, I didn't have much stability. And now? What brings you to my building? Alexander's tone was careful, measured. I didn't know it was your building, Marcus admitted. I have a job interview with Staffing Solutions on the 14th floor. Entry-level accounting position. Alexander's expression shifted. You always were good with numbers. Not good enough to make them stretch at the end of the month, Marcus said with a bitter smile. He hadn't meant to say it aloud, but the contrast between his life and Alexander's was too stark to ignore. Do you have a family? Alexander asked. Marcus hesitated before pulling out his wallet and removing a slightly bent photograph. My daughter, Lily. She's 8. He didn't mention Lily's mother, who had walked out when Lily was just 2, unable to handle the constant financial strain. Alexander took the photo, studying it with an unreadable expression. "She has your eyes." He returned the picture and stood abruptly, moving to his desk. "The accounting position, it's not right for you." Marcus felt a flash of anger. Even now, Alexander thought he knew what was best. "I need that job, Alex. I'm qualified, Anne." "You're overqualified," Alexander interrupted. "And I have a better offer." Before Marcus could respond, Alexander's phone buzzed. He answered briefly, then looked at Marcus. "My next appointment is here. Give me your contact information." "We're not finished, Marcus." In a daze, Marcus wrote his phone number and email on a notepad Alexander provided. As he was escorted out by Claire, he heard Alexander say, "And call down to Staffing Solutions. Tell them Mr. Jenkins had to reschedule." Marcus spent the subway ride home in a state of shock. He'd missed his interview, and Alexander Reid, the boy he'd once shared bunk beds with in a crowded foster home, was now one of the richest men in the country. What did Alexander mean by a better offer? Was it charity? The thought made Marcus's stomach turn. Lily was at the neighbor's apartment when Marcus returned home. Mrs. Gonzalez had been watching her after school since Marcus could no longer afford after-school care. "Daddy!" Lily launched herself into his arms. "How was your interview? Did you get the job?" Marcus forced a smile. "It's complicated, sweetheart. But don't worry, something will work out." That evening, after Lily was asleep, Marcus's phone rang with an unknown number. "Marcus, it's Alexander. I'd like to meet tomorrow. There's a cafe near your apartment, Rosie's on 9th Street. 8 a.m. Marcus wanted to ask how Alexander knew where he lived but simply agreed. The next morning, Marcus arrived at Rosie's to find Alexander already there, dressed casually in jeans and a sweater that probably cost more than Marcus's rent. 2 cups of coffee waited on the table. "I remember you take it black," Alexander said as Marcus sat down. "Some things don't change," Marcus replied, wrapping his hands around the warm cup. Alexander slid a folder across the table. "My offer." Inside was a contract for a position as Financial Systems Director at Horizon Enterprises, with a salary that made Marcus's eyes widen. "This isn't charity," Alexander said, reading Marcus's expression. "I've reviewed your employment history. 3 years at Wilson Accounting until they downsized, 2 at Mercer Financial before they relocated overseas. Excellent recommendations from both. You're qualified, Marcus." "Why?" Marcus asked simply. Alexander was quiet for a moment. "Do you remember what you said to me the day the Reids came to take me home?" Marcus remembered all too well. "I told you to go. That one of us should get out. You said, 'Don't look back, Alex. I'll be okay.'" Alexander's voice caught slightly. "But I did look back, Marcus. For years. And when I saw you yesterday, I realized I've been waiting for a chance to make things right." "You don't owe me anything," Marcus insisted. "This isn't about debt," Alexander replied. "It's about opportunity. The same opportunity one was given when the Reids adopted me. They saw potential in me, and I see it in you." Marcus stared at the contract, thinking of Lily, of the life he could give her with this job. No more choosing between paying the electric bill and buying new shoes for school. "There's something else," Alexander said, pulling out another document. "The Horizon Foundation funds a scholarship program for children in foster care. I'd like Lily to be our first legacy recipient, guaranteed college tuition when the time comes." Marcus felt tears threatening. "Alex. Just say yes, Marcus. For Lily." 2 months later, Marcus and Lily moved into a new apartment in a safe neighborhood with good schools. His position at Horizon was challenging but rewarding, and Alexander had become a regular presence in their lives, the uncle Lily had never had. One evening, as they watched Lily playing in the park near their new home, Alexander asked, "Do you ever think about how different things might have been if you hadn't gotten on that elevator?" Marcus shook his head. "I think we would have found each other eventually. Some connections are too strong to stay broken forever." Alexander smiled. "You know, the Reids taught me that success isn't measured by what you have, but by what you give. I never understood what that meant until I saw you again." "And what did you learn?" Marcus asked. "That sometimes, the most valuable thing you can give is a second chance." Alexander watched as Lily ran toward them, her face alight with joy. "And that family isn't about who raises you, it's about who stays." As the years passed, Marcus rose through the ranks at Horizon, eventually becoming CFO. The Jenkins Reid Scholarship Fund helped hundreds of foster children attend college, and Lily grew into a compassionate young woman who understood the value of both struggle and privilege. And it all began with a wrong elevator, a moment of recognition, and the courage to rebuild a connection that time and circumstance had severed but never truly broken. If this story touched your heart, remember that sometimes our greatest mistakes can lead to our most meaningful opportunities. Life has a way of bringing the right people back into our lives when we need them most. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that remind us of the power of second chances and the enduring bonds of true connection.